On 25th May 2017, the upper catchment of Kukule River in Sri Lanka received nearly 553 millimeters of rain within 24 hours. It was 1/6 of the average annual rainfall. A colossal volume of water tore downstream across the open sluice gate of the Kukule Reservoir and inundated the downstream area. The flood level at Paragoda West village rose above the street lamp posts. Only the village school and a few houses at high elevations escaped the rage of the flood waters. They had to harbour the community rescued by the village responders. For nearly 10 days, Paragoda West was cut off and isolated without access. A worst-case scenario for the village. In the aftermath, the Sri Lanka Preparedness Partnership, SLPP, a collaboration for enhancing emergency preparedness between government disaster risk management entities, the private sector and non-governmental organizations, undertook a project to formulate a comprehensive emergency preparedness plan for Paragoda West. Stakeholder consultation was the first step. Community consultations brought out the emergency response needs of the community based on their lessons learned. These were an upgraded IDP camp facility at the school with in-house ability to provide food, water and sanitation, a storehouse for dry food and non-food relief items, a kitchen space and utensils, need for a generator as electricity is not available due to disconnection at that level of inundation depth, need for a boat at the campsite for emergencies and search and rescue, need for proper early warning, capacity building for first aid, camp management, HH preparedness and business continuity, need for a navigation system for Navy boats once the lamp posts go underwater, river flow level gauge near the village. Devolved Emergency Management in the country recognizes the District Secretary, assisted by the District Disaster Management Coordinating Unit, to lead incident command at sub-national level. Lower in the administrative hierarchy is the Divisional Secretary, followed by the Grama Niladhari at village level. Consultations led the way to consensus. Dialogue with the Divisional Secretary has paved the way to provide a loan scheme for households and micro-enterprises to build an upper story for protection of assets from flood water. A power boat will be stationed at the school after early warning to serve health emergencies and search and rescue. Flag poles with luminous flags will be hoisted on lamp poles to enable navigation of boats to and out of the camp. The Divisional Secretary negotiated and obtained consensus to receive river level gauge data during intense rain from the upstream Kukule Dam Reservoir and downstream Millakanda River Flow Gauge Station. This will reinforce flood warnings from the Emergency Operations Centre Colombo to the District Disaster Management Coordination Unit and the District Secretary. A VPN communication has been set up between the Divisional Secretary, the District Disaster Management Coordination Unit, the Grama Niladhari and selected community leaders to provide timely flood early warning. Community-centered early warning through mobile announcements will ensure that the warnings reach each household. As a first requirement for emergency preparedness, the project trained a team of community youth for information gathering to compile a comprehensive GIS database for the village. This required a survey inclusive of each and every house to collect data. The coalition will serve both response and recovery interventions in the future. The compiled GIS database was then validated with the community. To enable sustainability of its use, a GIS training was conducted for the youth and divisional level stakeholders on using and maintaining the database. The community members were provided with capacity building on first aid. Committees were instituted for camp management tasks and were briefed on their roles and responsibilities. A community proposal to experiment with a floating storehouse has been translated into action. The store is constructed on a wooden platform fixed on empty plastic barrels. The barrels were donated by a private sector enterprise. Waterproof materials wrapped around a skeletal store frame provides protection from rain. A lightweight roof sits on top. The platform floats up above the recorded flood level, guided by 4 concrete pillars. Rings attached to the platform will guide the sliding on the pillars. The next flood will be the testing ground for improvement of the current design and replication to households. A kitchen and a storeroom was positioned using converted containers. A private enterprise provided the container conversion at no profit. All necessary NFRIs have been put in place. A mechanism for proactive storage of dry rations is in place. The National Disaster Relief Services Centre is upgrading the water and sanitation facilities, and funds have already been allocated. A pre-informed simulation drill culminated project activities. Mobile announcement on the previous evening informed the community of the pending activity. House-to-house visits were carried out to provide guidance on how to respond to the evacuation announcement and what to bring with them. A token with the house number was provided to determine the evacuation time needed by each household. Next day, with an evacuation announcement at a predetermined time, evacuation and camp management procedures were rolled out. Camp management subcommittees were made visible so that the inmates become familiar with the organized approach to camp management. Requirements for coping in an extreme event are in place. Only the next event will tell how adequate they are.